Hello and welcome to the Build With Baer Workshop. My name is Pat Baer. I'm here to build a model kit and hang out with all of you. And I'm going to get things started by throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the Tier 2 blue emote in the chat. If you are currently a subscriber, you can reply with those emotes. If you are not yet a subscriber, you can say hi or use other people's emotes. Or if you feel like being a lurker, that's okay. You can just lurk. No one's going to get mad about it. Lashbrook is here. Hello, Lashbrook. It is a Saturday. On the record, let me apologize for the delayed start. It's almost 9:15. I normally start like 4 or 5 minutes after 9. I apologize for that. It was unfortunately unavoidable. If I can be annoyed for a second, it was avoidable until it wasn't avoidable. It's my own fault for agreeing to do a thing and making my end time clear, and then being surprised when people were a bit between understanding and annoyed with my own opinion about when I needed to leave an event. But it was a nice time. I had a lovely time this evening. It's nice to get out of the house and do things, but it was a bit frustrating that I had to put my foot down and then give up. Basically. But anyway, yeah, that's neither here nor there. It's a Saturday night. I'm working on the Maxter Gundam. We have completed the upper half of the kit. We completed the legs as well. We are going to move on to the waist, and then we are going to build the core lander, the backpack for it, build up the core lander. Then we'll start worrying about the action base and the weapons, including the surfboard, which is also a shield. It's both, and then we'll put together boxer mode for it and the various ways. I don't know if we're going to fully finish the kit tonight. I think we'll finish it. I know what I'm building next if we do finish it. And then if we don't finish the kit, then we'll wrap it up on Monday. I hope that sounds okay to you. And I hope you're excited for a night of model kit building and conversation. Let's go, without further ado, let's go to the overhead camera. Here's the overhead camera. Okay, this just needs to be zoomed in a little. I usually have time. I usually have a bunch of time to set things up, to take a photo of me, like in my setup, and then promote with that and have things ready. And I unfortunately assumed I would be back in time to do all that prep work, which I did not have time for tonight. And so again, my apologies for that. We're going to move on to building the waist because we have done the legs and the chest, you can see over here. Oh, I should say, we're at 37 out of 50 subscribers. The goal is to get to 50. I stopped talking about it at 50. If you want to become a subscriber, you could do that. Join it, or you want to gift a sub to someone in the community, you could do that as well, and that would be rad. But of course, that's optional, and you don't have to worry about that stuff. If you don't want to worry about that stuff, it's okay. I hope you're all doing well out there on the old internet. I'm doing all right. Again, I am rushed, but otherwise okay. I don't have like a big agenda to talk about things tonight. Often, life happens, and then I can comment on life. But I didn't really do much since Thursday. My Friday was working on some projects that just pay some of the bills and are not fun to talk about, unfortunately. So I did some of that yesterday. Today was... Look, I understand that it's a weird thing what I'm about to say here, but today was dedicated to anime, and that does sound ridiculous, but it is true. I spent a good portion of today watching some anime so I could talk about it on stream tonight, and then also I recorded a video, the next episode of Pat Baer's Anime Club, which goes out to my $5 and $10 patrons tomorrow, and then everybody else gets to see it on Monday. So, I know that's ridiculous that a good portion of my day was watching and then talking about anime. And then, watching that anime so I could talk about it tonight was another part of it. But it's true. That is a thing that happened. That is a true statement. And it was, it's a good time. So yeah, I didn't really do too much today. Beyond that, I'm happy with how the video turned out. That's uploaded and will go out to people soon. So I am happy to say that that went well. How does this connect? Does it go this? Sorry, this, yeah, okay. I am figuring out how this waist piece connects, and I believe it connects like that. Yes, it connects like that. Great. Waist piece has been connected. Working on the waist now. And then tightly fit part as far as they will go. I appreciate when instructions say that, even if it does feel bad sometimes to do. Hey, Tony, welcome. Happy to have you here on this fine Saturday evening. Appreciate you being here. What am I going to say? Yeah, so today was a lot of prepping for things, which I did manage to do and get some stuff done so that I could go in here and be ready to go tonight. And then unfortunately, as mentioned, and I will stop mentioning it constantly, did get a late start tonight, which not only is it late, am I late, which makes me frustrated because I don't like to be late. I like to be timely and be like clockwork and have my stuff set up. But also, I walked in the house, turned on my overhead camera and music and hit start streaming, which is not great for me. Just me, the person, your friend Pat. I don't do particularly well under that kind of scenario. I like to be prepared and a little rested. I like to do a little, getting things ready, getting things secure. I had my mat set up. I had all my sprues out and ready to go. I did as much prep work as I could. My backdrop is up, that kind of stuff. I managed to get all of that together. I just got out of the car, came in the house, started the music, started the stream, and that's not how I operate. It's been a long time since I operated that way. There was a brief period that some folks may remember that are watching the streams right now where Monday nights streams were late. They were very late. I had decided to add in Monday night as a streaming night, and so I had to do it. I would come home from work and stream, and it was very late in the evening. And then I got laid off from my job, so then Monday got to be a regular time. I was fluctuating between is Monday afternoon or Monday very late at night. Which one is better? It turns out that it was doing it late at night ended up being better as far as viewership goes. So I did that. And those shows, I would prep as much as I could before I went to work. And then when I got back from work, I would just immediately start streaming. And though that I was not in a good headspace for those streams. There was also, and some people may remember this was at the same time there, some time when my streams just had to be really late at night before I got a better internet connection. I had Verizon Fios. I had fiber internet, and I didn't always have that. What ended up happening was a new building went up, and it was only a 4-story building, but it was I don't know, I think it was 8 apartments, and all of them got Time Warner Cable on the same neighborhood line, and it wrecked everybody's internet at peak hours. It was just enough to disrupt the whole neighborhood. Because I called, I was like, hey, packets that I'm sending up are just, I'm dropping frames and I'm getting disconnected anytime between up until about 10 p.m. Is there anything that can be done? And I got told pretty explicitly, no, there's nothing that can be done unless you move. Because a new line out to the out isn't going to help. A new modem isn't going to help. A new cable boxes aren't going to help. There's just too much congestion in your line at peak hours. So what I ended up having to do was I was streaming from midnight to 1:30 a.m. Eastern time, which is late for the West Coast and very late for the East Coast. Because if I tried to stream anytime earlier than that, it would just be a nightmare and wouldn't work at all. And downloading so it got to the point where if I tried to download like a video at 1:30 p.m., it would take 3 times as long as 1:30 a.m. So I would have to go into work early sometimes to download big video files or something for work. Instead of doing it at my leisure, I would just have to go in early to work to get that done. And it was a nightmare. The whole thing was a complete and total nightmare. And because I was streaming more and because I was going to get a deal for the first year anyway, I was like, and my roommate at the time, I was like, hey, I'm going to pay for Fios. Do you want to pay for half of Fios? And he was like, well, I want to start working from home 3 days a week. So yes, I want to do that. And so we ended up getting good internet. And look, I miss a lot about New York. And I know that fiber internet isn't exclusive. That's not like a New York thing, just a New York thing. But I had the best internet of my life for like 2.5, 3 years. And I miss it all the time. I miss 1 gigabyte up, 1 gigabyte down. And look, was it a full gigabyte up? No, it wasn't consistently a full gigabyte up, but it was fucking fast. It was so fast. So let's say that I had streamed and I had a local recording, and that local recording was like 2 to 3 gigs. I would upload it so fast that it would hitch for like like my whole internet would hitch for like 30 seconds as I uploaded the video file. And then it would take like 20 to 25 minutes to process the video because for YouTube, as some of y'all know, as you're uploading, it is beginning to process the video in SD. And then when you're done uploading, it usually then finishes processing the HD version. But shortly after your upload is done, generally, your video is processed with the SD version. Mine would upload so fast that it would take like a very long time before the SD was ready to be processed starting. It was like lightning speed. And downloads, forget it. It was so fast. Everything downloaded instantly. I could stream. I didn't have 4K stuff to stream at the time, but I bet I would have been able to stream 4K stuff no problem. Certainly 1080p stuff streamed like no issue. Never had a hitch. Never had any problems with any streaming service where it would be like delayed or like, halfway through the video, you got to pause it and let things get caught up. None of that stuff. It was unbelievably fast and solid. Never dropped a frame. There was one day where like I had to reset the modem like one time in the couple years. It was unbelievably good. If you have the opportunity to go with fiber, I highly recommend it. It's just, it's so good and I miss it. My internet now is better than it was after some upgrades of equipment down here. But at the end of the day, even with like I'm wireless in this room, and the fact that I'm fine to upload is because my bit rate is lower than it really needs to be, than it really should be. I'm only doing 30 frames instead of 60, which isn't noticeable to me, but is noticeable. Every once in a while, somebody mentions like, hey, are you doing 30 frames for video? And it's like, yes, I am. Because that is the best way for me to operate. We're working on the core. This is the backpack. The idea is the pilot is inside this vehicle and then it deposits the cockpit into the back of the kit. That is the G Gundam element to it. So we are building our cockpit, our core lander, I should say. And unfortunately, with these high grades, even again, this is a new modern version of this kit. The core landers are never super detailed, which is understandable. If there's going to be any part of a kit that is not, that you skimp out on a little bit, it makes sense that it would be this part of it. But anyway, I don't need to wax nostalgic the whole night about how cool and awesome my internet used to be, but it was cool and awesome. It was so nice having great internet because, like I said, it'd been a nightmare. Now with my with that old pre switching internet, with my current setup, like it might have been better. And I was wired at the time, and it was still a goddamn nightmare. I was incredibly frustrated at the time. Okay, so how does this fit in? This goes in like this, and then this is going to go so it. Oh, I have to do it like that. All right, so then I got to pop in like, no, like this. I think this is how it goes. We'll see. And then the core lander goes like that. The bottom goes in like that, and then yeah. All right, so this is the core lander here. You can see there. It'll fly in, and then there's a couple more pieces that go on, and then it can pop up like this, like that, and then it will deposit itself in the back of it. Yeah, it kind of goes in like that, and then it's got to pop out. The problem is where it pops open is where the sticker is, so you got to kind of wedge it up. Yeah, it's got to go like that, and then it can, yeah, then it wants just to pop, it wants to just come out. So I'm like, am I doing this right? Am I actually doing this right? I guess it goes like that. I guess that's right. All right, yeah, okay. So we'll put it like that, and then we've got to put some other parts on here, C15, and then, okay, and there are stickers that have to go on the other parts here. So we've got to put on the bottoms of this, and we'll do that now. I apologize if I seem frazzled this evening. It's because I am. Like I said, I did rush in here, so I am a little unprepared for this. So we were talking at dinner tonight. I went to go hang out with some fine folks and chat about some things tonight, and had dinner, which was lovely. It was a lovely evening. But yeah, in conversation, we were talking about weddings, and it reminded me again of New York. I'm a little nostalgic about my time in New York these days. And I was talking about weddings, and I think I talked about it here, my favorite wedding I've ever been to. It was dear friends of mine. I had been friends with them their entire relationship. In fact, I had witnessed one of their early dates. This was early on in their relationship. I happened to be out and see them walking together. Clearly they had been on a date, and it was just like, ooh, and they were like, don't say anything, we're not public about it. And then our core friend group, they announced like, hey, we're dating. And then like conversation happened, and it goes, oh, also Pat knew. And I was like, hell yeah, I knew. I can keep a secret when it's important. But they had gotten married, and they were going to have the ceremony in Brooklyn. And this nice little place. It used to be a one-story firehouse, which had been converted into a event space, which I thought was, I thought then, and I continue to think, that's really cute and really fun. Let's see. So A8, we got to do stickers 8. Give me a second here. Okay, so this is going to go along that. All right, that makes sense. That'll go along that, and then these go in here, and they're going to move around. So we got to put on some stickers here while I talk about this. So they got married at this old firehouse where the doors were still up, like the garage door was still up, and it was a nice little event. The idea was the guests arrived. There was like a cocktail hour and music playing, and then everyone went downstairs for the wedding. And while we were downstairs at the wedding, the upstairs cocktail bar area had been converted, and then we came back up. There were more tables and chairs, and then that's where we had dinner. And then it was also where the wedding reception was. So it was all in one place. You didn't have to travel. It wasn't a church wedding. It was just like there was a ceremony, And I was asked to keep quiet about this because, people like to. A wedding ceremony that is non-religious can be where documents are signed and you're legally wed. It's way more convenient and easier to just go to a courthouse to get the paperwork together. So I was a witness to my friend's wedding. I got invited to go to City Hall and be a witness for it, and sign some paperwork and take a photo and all that. And I was honored. I joked with them. Did you ask me because I can keep a secret? Because I had kept a secret that they were dating until they were ready to tell people. And my friend had said, no, we asked you because we had to do it during the day and we know your work hours. And I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, but it's a good thing that you can keep a secret. It was like, oh, all right. Well, that's fine. As long as there was a good reason for it. Anyway, so the wedding was lovely. And everybody pitched in. Hey, Lord Crashington, I am reminiscing about one of my favorite weddings I've ever been to. So this wedding, again, Brooklyn, one vehicle firehouse that had been converted to do events. A lovely little space that I was happy to be there for. And this was one of the most inexpensive weddings I've ever seen for New York, because they had everything in one venue. And it was a friend affair. There was a buddy, like, basically they were like, hey, please come to our wedding. You do not have to get us a gift if you will do something for us. If you will help us out with the wedding, you don't have to get us a gift. And for me, that was, we're going to have a karaoke machine, and we're going to have an iPod hooked up to it, or a phone, I don't know what it was, playing music as people come in. You just have to press start on the music and then switch to a song at a certain point. We'll ask you for it for the first dance. And then after dinner, we're going to do karaoke in the karaoke machine, and we'd like you to run the karaoke machine. And I was like, this is a wonderful wedding gift for you, and also a wonderful wedding gift for me, because you're asking me to have a microphone at your wedding and be kind of like the MC of the event. And I was like, this sounds great. I am totally willing to do that. You pegged me. You understand what I'm into and what I like and how I would love to contribute to your lovely wedding. It was wonderful. So another friend, that his wedding gift was picking up the karaoke machine and delivering it, and then also returning it to the rental place. So he did that, and he was very happy to do that because it meant he could use his truck to pick it up, among other things. He became the gopher for the wedding, which was a great job for him as well. And there were a few other people that chipped in here and there. And I was surprised when I arrived at the wedding to find a girl that I had coached in improv. And I shouldn't have been surprised about that. She was working the wedding. The bride was a improv teacher and also coach. And the musical improv group that she had been coaching, she offered them free coaching lessons in exchange for working the wedding. And basically they helped transform the wedding from the cocktail hour into the reception, and kind of just help clear plates and do all that. And everyone did a great job, and it was very fun. And like I said, there were a couple of people that I recognized, and they were like, oh, my friend Becky, who later became my coworker, Becky, was like, I didn't think I'd know anyone at this wedding, but I know everyone at this wedding except for some family members. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah, you'll get there, because she was new in the scene. She was kind of new in the scene. I was like, you'll get there. Eventually, all your friends will be comedy people. And that turned out to be true, as she started dating a very good friend of mine, and all of their friends are comedy people now. It just happens that way. Not all of them. I'm kind of joking a little bit, but a lot of them. All right, there are 2 more stickers that need to be applied here as we convert the core lander here. As we convert this into a backpack, we need to open this part up. Slide. Oops, something fell off. That's not great. This needs to slide down This is not doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to slide down and then pop open like even, and it's not doing that, and that's frustrating to me, and I don't want to force it and break it. All right, there it goes. It went like that. There it is. And then this is supposed to be like that, because it's got to pop in here. Yeah, like that. Oh, no, it wants to go the whole way, and it doesn't want to do that. So something is up, and we'll have to figure that out. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. This wants to. Oops. I got to flick this open. The last one of these kits we did, the Rose, it was fine, and then we also didn't have any problems with the God Gundam, but of course that's a real grade, so I'm never expecting problems there. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to see if I can pop this back plate off and figure this out. But it might be that I'm doing something wrong. It's totally within the realm of possibility. So that wedding was really fun. We did some karaoke at the end, and you're like, Pat, it's a little weird to have karaoke at a wedding, right? Well, you got to remember the bride was a musical theater person, and her two younger sisters were all musical theater people. It was a whole family musical theater people, and they, like, I always laughed because they were from the suburbs outside of Seattle, and this was their first time in New York. So they came for their big sister's wedding, but they also came for the opportunity to go to see musicals on Broadway. So there were a lot of singers. Oops. And so I had to make sure that we had musicals, but we also had like other people coming up to sing, and, you know, comedy people doing songs, and the bride and groom want to do something together. And so, you know, balancing it out, it was a job that I would like to think I did a very good job with. I like to think that I really nailed it. All right, so found their homeland of theater. Indeed. So it was like, oh, our sister's getting married, but also we get to go to Broadway shows. Like they made a meal out of it. Okay, so somewhere along the line here, I didn't do this right, and now I'm going to attempt to figure out what I did wrong. So it has to rest like this, which means that it needs to pop down like this, and then ride this track. But it doesn't fully want to ride the track like I need it to. And I don't know why. Because when it comes in through here, it has to kind of be flush. And it doesn't want to be flush. All right, that's kind of right. There's like a give and take with this, that it's not doing the thing it needs to do. And then if I snap this part on, I shouldn't worry too much about this because it is just the cockpit, but I want to do it right. You know what I mean? I want to make it look good. All right, so then, yeah, the problem is, like, it slides, and it should slide and then fully lift open, and it's not doing that. It should go down and then be open, and it's not going down. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I know that I'm connecting this back piece on correctly, and I know this is right. It should go like this. This is how it should be from a side, because then it will go in like this here, and it'll slide in, and then the backpack will be there. So I know that that is right. I know that's doing what it's supposed to do. It's just that when I put the back plate on and connect the back plate, maybe if I connect it like this, it'll work. So it goes like that. And then it wants to go, okay, all right. Well, and now will it slide all the way down? This is the question. Okay, this is working. It looks like it's working. We can move on with the build. There are 2 more stickers that we need to apply, and I have to figure out where those go. And we will apply that in a moment. Okay, so then this goes like this. Those are like that. This goes like this. This goes like this. And those will lean back some. And then there's 2 stickers that have to go on. As this comes down, these bend back. And this has to come all the way down and bend over. Okay. And then we have 2 more stickers. And I don't know exactly where these stickers go. So we have to figure that out. I don't know why all of these stickers are on the goddamn core unit, but they are. Oh, it's over here. Okay. But yeah, most of these stickers are here. Tony says, yo, Pat, what's your favorite store-bought ice cream if you have one? I just bought some drumsticks and looking forward to them after dinner. So, my favorite store-bought ice cream is Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia. I know that is incredibly specific, but if I am craving ice cream, which I rarely do because I'm not much of an ice cream boy, but if I am craving ice cream, I am looking for Ben & Jerry's Cherry Garcia. I love the chocolate chip in there. I love that there is cherry, but it's not too much cherry, and it's not unbelievably sour, but also not unbelievably sweet. It is a good mix together with all of the other elements of the dish. I find it to be very balanced. I've talked about this on stream. I'm not a sweets person myself. Never had it, but down to give it a try. Yeah, I'm not necessarily a sweets person. I like a little bit of chocolate at Halloween, and I like jelly beans at Easter. Those are like the things that I definitely look for. You know, I'll have cake, I'll have ice cream now and again, but I never crave it. I never go out of my way. Look, I'll say this. A really hot summer's day, I am craving a fruit popsicle. That's when I want a fruit popsicle, is a really, really boiling hot summer's day. I am really searching for that because that is a cool, nice treat. But yeah, I don't go for sweets now and again. I like them, but I don't go heavy on them. I'm not looking for it. One last thing about that beautiful wedding, that cheap, inexpensive, lovely wedding that I had so much fun at. I should end with this, that a guy that I found out when he moved to LA didn't like me, a former coworker of mine that I was cordial with. He decided that when he didn't live in New York anymore, he didn't need me in his life, which is like, fine, but okay. So he kind of cut out communication. He was at the wedding, and he brought his then girlfriend to the wedding, which was fun. And he did not talk to me at all. And again, we were in this was like a 15-person wedding. And he did not speak to me. He did not introduce her to me. I met his then girlfriend at the time via a mutual friend who was like, "Oh, hey, you should probably meet Pat." And I was like, "Hello." And then he didn't talk to me. And then a couple months later, while he and said person were going through a breakup, sent me a long email demanding that I cut off all communication with that girl. It's like, I know you were talking to her at the wedding, and you need to stop talking to her. And I was like, I don't know her last name. We spoke at the wedding because that's what you do when you are talking to someone at a wedding. You are polite to someone at that wedding. You do not have to worry. I don't know her last name. I've never been in contact with her. Stop. It's like, it's one of those things where I wanted to say, I know that you are freaking out because you are going through a breakup, but also you cut me out of your life. What the fuck are we talking about? And I will stop talking about that because I will get into disparaging territory if I continue talking about this person and their end of their relationship, which indeed involved me in no way, shape, or form. Um, Lord Crash says, I like this Oreo ice cream sandwich I've had some of the past few years. It's nice. Doesn't stick to your fingers and is a good treat on a hot day. I will say, Nestle Crunch, a Nestle Crunch ice cream bar is pretty dang good because it's like mostly a Nestle Crunch with ice cream, which is like refreshing, and I appreciate that. I'm not craving it, but if offered, I would not say no. We're working on the stand here, which is one cool thing about these G Gundam Premium Bandai high grade, the new versions, is that they all come with their own stands, which are the rose was clear blue. This is clear red, which is really nice because it gives it its kind of own vibe to it. Also, the stands are good. These are good stands, so that is nice to have as well. Tony loves some watermelon juice on a hot day. Yeah, I hear that. I understand. I get where you're coming from. Yes, Lord Crashington. He made it a big deal that because we no longer worked together, he didn't have to pretend to get along with me, which was like, okay, well, like, we're still going to run into each other, like, at the wedding. Yeah, he made it a big deal that, like, he was cutting me out of his life, which was like, okay, well, we're coworkers with a lot of mutual friends, and you're going to come back to New York, and I'm going to occasionally go to LA. I didn't go as much as I originally thought I would be, but, like, we're going to, like, okay. Like, I was still civil with people that I didn't like. There were people that I didn't get along with. And we were still civil at work because you gotta be, like, you absolutely need to be civil to do anything. Because even at the time, the comedy scene was like big, but it wasn't that big. Like, he was working at a place that I had a lot of friends at, like his new job, where he was like, "Oh, I'm with much better people and I'm doing well and I don't need this." And I was just like, "Oh, okay, man." And here's the thing. I didn't realize it at the time. To him, I said something that really negatively impacted him and his opinion of me a few years before all of this went down, which I never realized. And at the time, I didn't think anything of, and turns out that it was a hurtful thing to him. Now, instead of him saying, "Pat, that's actually really hurtful. I wish you would rephrase that or let me know what you mean, or just so you know, this is a bummer." He just instead internalized it and made it a thing where he hated me for a couple years, which I didn't realize. And I'll explain what it was and I can understand a little bit of why he might have been hurt by that. So, at the time, I was not on a house performance team at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater where I worked. I was auditioning to get onto a team. I worked on Tuesday nights, the night that the house teams performed. And so I said, we were both auditioning. I was like, hey, if I get on a team and you don't, I would love for you to take over Tuesdays. And we could swap and I could do one of the days you work. Because he also was a tech person. And I was just saying, like, to me, I was saying, hey, in the unlikely event that one of us got on a team and one of us didn't get on a team, I would like you to have the responsibility of working a very important night, a night that I loved working and I wouldn't be able to work anymore. To me, it was saying, hey, you're my number 2 guy at this job because I'm the number 1 guy at the job. But I respect how you work and your work ethic, and I think you'd be the best person for the job. And he took that as, I'm getting on, me, Pat, I'm definitely getting on a team, and you, person, are definitely not getting on a team. So therefore, when you don't get on a team, you can have my leftovers, which is that shift. Because he didn't think of that shift as being as important as I thought of it. He took it as a personal slight. And I fully can understand that my attempt at having a backup plan for, in the event of there being an issue, was a vote of no confidence in his comedic performance ability. I should say neither of us got on the team that year. And I didn't think it was because I was better than him that I was going to get on. He wasn't. And he had said, Pat, actually, that feels like you're saying you don't think I'm going to get on a team, and you are. And I wish that you had worded that better, or just said like, or if I had just said, hey, Mo, I shouldn't have said his name. I'm going to say his name. If I had said, hey, Mo, I think in case I get on a team, would you want to work that night? To which he would have said, or it's like, hey, whatever. I could have worded it differently, I guess. But at the end of the day, he chose to be very mad about me making that request of him, or having the idea of him being on there. And he decided to take that very personally for the rest of the time that he was an employee that reported to me, because, hey, remember, I was also his boss because I was in charge of all the people. And it did feel like an overreaction. But again, I wish that he had felt he could talk to me about it instead of just holding a grudge and deciding I'm done with this person. It ended up being bad. And then things went bad in different ways. And then eventually I did get on a house team at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater. And he was already not around, so it didn't matter. And I got someone else to do that job. And they did pretty okay with it. And then eventually I got someone else to come in and do it who did very well. The first person I got to do it did not enjoy that job, which is fine. All right, let's see. I don't know which connector we're going to go with. We're going to go with the middle connector. We'll do that, and then we'll need A13 as well, which is the cap on the top of this, because we're gonna put this kit, we're gonna put this figure on there, and we're gonna have different versions of this kit, because this kit has a boxing mode where this piece comes off and the shoulders become boxing gloves, and there's a bunch of different modes for this kit, and we'll try out all of them. So we'll also have to figure out how this sits and rides, and how it connects and do all that. This is going to go like that. And then most likely this will go something like this. And this will go something like this. And then this will go something like that. This is my approximation. I don't know for sure if this is how I'm going to have it, but well, it's probably too high. So it's probably more like this. And these do fall apart because they are plastic, but it should be fine for at least getting it together. But yeah, here we go. There's our kit on its stand, approximately how I would like it. Actually, probably would want it a little bit more like this. Yeah, like that. There it is. There's our kit on its stand, looking real nice. We might have to adjust the kit a little bit as we'll put the weapons on and the shield. And then there's the cover pieces. There's a thing that fits over the feet for the shield, because the shield is also a surfboard, which is silly because this is the boxing, twin revolver shooting, football playing, surfing Gundam, because America, Neo America. This is what Neo Americans do. Don't you forget it, partner. Very silly. America, indeed. I don't have any news stories to really talk about here. We're going to take a pause for the calls in a moment or two. I'll talk about ways you can support the channel and all that. Is there any news stories? No, it looks like there's a whole Tarkov thing. Look, I don't know a lot about Tarkov, so I can't really get deep into this Tarkov thing, except they're offering an offline PvE mode, and you have to buy it separately, but also it there's the amount of copies of it they've sold outweighs the server capacity for it, but then they're still selling it, encouraging people to buy it, even if by buying it you aren't guaranteed to be able to play it at any time because of server issues, but they're not stopping to play it. And it cost $250. A new special edition of the game called the Unheard Edition comes with exclusive features and content, including an offline co-op PvE mode for $250. So it's not that the mode is $250. It's like you got to buy all this stuff, and then when you buy all that stuff, it's $250. And that sounds excessive. And maybe it's awesome. Maybe that money, it's a great mode and totally worth it. Many players have bought other editions that have granted them special features like early access to test servers, more equipment, a larger stash. Apparently, the previous edition, Edge of Darkness, was discontinued in January and promised the buyers would have access to all future DLC through a season pass. And people assumed, apparently incorrectly, that the season pass DLC, that this mode would be considered DLC, but it's not DLC. Apparently this mode is just extra stuff that is not part of the DLC. DLC Pass does not include the new PvE mode or any other features in Unheard Edition. DLC means additional downloadable content. PvE is a feature in a game mode. Just because you all want it to become a DLC, it wouldn't mean it is one. It's a featured game mode for the new edition of the game. So basically he said, just because you want it to be DLC doesn't mean that it fits our very narrow definition of what DLC is, because of course, that is downloadable content. It's additional downloadable content. It's just it's a mode that you have to download to use. So it definitely doesn't mean that. Yikes, 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 yikes. It is a unique feature for the Unheard Edition buyers. Edge of Darkness players who already paid $150 for their game can save money if they want access to PvE for $100. So if you already paid $150 for an edition that they've already ended, you can buy the new edition for $100 instead of $250. I'm kind of glad I never got into Tarkov. Bobby Dice Roller just resubbed, tier 1, 40 months. Let's throw the Bear Cave Lego site tier 2 blue emote in chat. Thank Bobby Dice Roller for that. That's very awesome. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate that very much. 40 months is a ton of months, and that's rad. Thank you for resubbing. Appreciate that. And yeah, subs, let's throw that in there. They want to squeeze more money out of people. Yes, it very much seems like a money squeeze. See. This is appreciate that, Bobby. Tarkov players have noted the Unheard Edition will feature unique weapons and more flea market slots. Longtime players will remember a time without server wipes where players could collect the loot during a run, would destroy newer players. Apparently, Edge of Darkness owners will receive some of the features now. So if you paid them a bunch of money before for the mode that they took away, you can now get some of that stuff back, apparently. So it looks like some of this stuff they are going to figure out at some point. I'm going to take a photo of this in this mode. I'm going to do the one-hand boxer mode here, I think. I'm going to take a photo of this kit, and then I'm going to take the shield and turn it into a surfboard. We'll build the shield after the hour. and I'll take another photo of it because this kit has several modes, which I want to document, and I don't have my phone. All right, I'll be back in a second. My phone is in my pants pocket, and I need to grab my pants pocket because I'm wearing shorts right now. So hold on. I will be back in just a moment. All right, I'm back. My apologies. I thought I had my phone on me, and turns out I didn't. It was in the pants that I wore tonight out pocket, and then I switched out of those for the stream and didn't swap it back. All right, here's photo one. Photo one has been taken. I've seen people hopping. One of the Tarkov competitors hoping one of them takes off so they can't take advantage of their position at the top of the genre to get money out of people. Oh, competitors. Okay. Lord Crashington, I didn't understand what you were saying. You saw people talking about hoping that one of the Tarkov likes does really well so that Tarkov isn't the top. They have to be competitive instead of just clear gouging of their own customers, because they are the best in their genre. Yeah, that makes sense that people would want some actual competition there. Totally makes sense, and it's a fucking bummer. All right, what's happening right now? Okay, so we are going to take a pause for the cause. I'm going to talk about ways you can support what I do here. Everything I'm going to talk about is optional. You don't have to do any of these things. If you would like to support what I do here, you're more than welcome to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. And we'll get through that pretty quickly. Then we'll get back to model kit building, and we will talk about some anime that I watched in the past couple days. So first and foremost, if you are currently a subscriber to the Build With Baer Workshop, you can throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe, the Tier 2 Blue emote in chat. Being a subscriber is the easiest way to support what I do here through cash money or your Prime Gaming token. If you would like to do that, you're more than welcome to. I would love it if you would like to become a subscriber. You can gift a sub. You could join the gift sub leaderboard if you wanted to do that. You're under no obligation to do that, obviously, but if you'd like to, you're more than welcome to do that. There's also the cheerleader board. If you want to cheer, you could do that, which would be real neat, and I would appreciate that very much. And those are the easiest way to support me through Twitch, which is the service you're already on. As I said, I'm currently at 37 subscribers. The goal is to get to 50. I shut up about at 50. So if you want to become a subscriber, you could do that. But there are other ways to support me financially if you are so inclined, like joining my Patreon at patreon.com/PatBear. Over on my Patreon, there's a $1, $3, $5, and $10 tier. There are different rewards for different tiers. Consider joining me on Patreon. Take a look at the rewards, see if that's right for you. Let's just do... Oh, yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, I got the Patreon. That's good. That's good. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBear. Over on my YouTube channel, you could join in there if you want to do that. Obviously, subscribing to YouTube is free, so if you want to subscribe, I would love that. If you want to become a member YouTube, you could do that at youtube.com/PatBear. And members are $2 a month. You get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. So the video that I put out this past Wednesday for the anime Cherry Magic, where I talk about how great that show is, you could have seen that video even earlier. And everything I make... So those are all ways to support me on a monthly basis. But what about a one-time? What if you just wanted a tip jar? You want to help me out and let me keep doing the cool shit that I do here? Well, you could do a one-time donation through Ko-Fi or PayPal. Everything I make through direct donations, which includes AdSense. So watching my YouTube videos helps me out. Through direct donations, YouTube, Patreon, and Twitch all goes into a fund. And from that fund, I take stuff out to buy and then build model kits, including the Maxter, which I had to pre-order last year. I was able to pre-order this kit because of subscribers. It's very kind of you. and your continued support. Again, optional. You don't have to, but if you wanted to, it's rad. This kit was decided by $10 patrons that I was going to build it. They have decided what I'm building next. There is a way around that. If you want to, for real, you, the person, decide what I'm building next and what I work on next, you can always buy something for me to build. Because if you do that, it'll jump the queue, become the next thing that I'm going to put together. And also, I will make a dedicated YouTube video about the thing you bought, which is part of my mailbag series. I have an Amazon wish list, which I just put into the chat. That is the easiest way to buy something for me to build it. I have Lego sets. I got model kits. I have inexpensive kits. I have expensive kits. I just put in a few new things pretty recently. Just put in another spaceship. I don't know why the Lego City line has 2 different spaceships in it, but this one also has an asteroid, and that's kind of neat. It's a smaller spaceship than the one I built before. Again, I don't know why they have spaceships in Lego City, but they do, and it looks neat. A bunch of stuff there that I'd be happy to build. Again, it goes from very inexpensive to, hey, why does this cost so goddamn much? And everywhere in between. Yeah, I'd be happy to build anything on that list if you wanted to buy it. And there's some gear at the bottom because maybe you want to support me, but you don't know what to spend on that. Those are options there. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate that. Welcome, raiders. I'm Pat Baer. I build model kits. We're going to get back to a model kit. This is my pause for the cause. I'm talking about ways people can support the channel. And then we'll get back to model kit building. So just give me a moment. Maybe you'll learn a little bit more about what I do here. I have a Throne wish list. If people want to support me on Throne, that is a wish list service that I really appreciate. So if you want to jump over to Throne, you can check that out. And then the most convoluted way to support me is to buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store. They are not a sponsor, but they offer gift cards that they will send you in your email. So you buy a gift card there, you get an email with a gift card code, then you send me a DM on Twitter or a whisper here on Twitch with that gift card code, and then I will use that gift card code to buy model kits from USA Gundam Store. Again, the most convoluted way to support me. If you want to support me, but you don't want to spend any money, I hear you. Hey, check out my Discord. I got a Discord. It's full of great people. Would love to have you over there on the old Discord if you want to jump in there. And then, oops, sorry, let me just change this here. Couple video links for you to check out. Pat Baer's Anime Club. I have a new episode coming out on Monday, but the current episode you could watch, after the stream if you wanted to. Just pop it open to another window or tab and watch it later. Is a video where I talk about all of the isekai that are out this current anime season, the spring 2024 season. There are 11 isekai, new and returning shows. And I talked about all of them. And then Kuma Baer is my weekly anime recommendation series, where I talk about a new show every week in under a minute and try to convince you to check it out and tell you where you can watch it. Kuma Baer this week is about Cherry Magic, which is a romantic comedy series with just a hint of magic. The concept of a guy can now hear the thoughts of people, and most of the thoughts he is hearing is of the hot coworker of his that is interested in dating him. And then romance and comedy follow, and it's lovely. Check out Cherry Magic on Crunchyroll. Watch the video to hear me talk about it and tell you how cool it is. All right. That's all of the ad read stuff that I have to do. That's all the self-promotion that I'm going to do. We're going to get back to working on this kit. We are going to build a shield that is also a surfboard, because that's just a fucking thing that you can do on this kit. And then to get ready for that, we are going to go to the overhead. And I'm going to drink some water because I need to do that. And we'll dramatically transition to the overhead right now. All right. Let's talk about some anime while I work on this kit. Windbreaker, episode 4 of Windbreaker. I'm watching a bunch of shonen. This season, it just worked out that way. It was not necessarily my intention. Windbreaker is a series about a guy who has always been considered a delinquent, so he decided to become a delinquent because he has half his hair is black and the other half is gray, including his eyes are different colors, and people just assume that he's doing that on purpose. That's just the way he was born. So he was like, well, if people think I'm a delinquent, then I'll be a delinquent. And if I'm going to be a delinquent, I'm going to go to the school for delinquents, and I am going to become the best delinquent there is. Turns out being a delinquent is in this place is more about helping out the community and being tough, but also fighting the real assholes out there, and not just about being the strongest, as we're learning. So his school, which people refer to as Boferin, we met last episode the head of the school, Umiyama, and he's apparently talking about vegetables, and it feels like it's 5 to 10 minutes of the episode is this one character going on and on and on about vegetables, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing here with this guy? And then our main character starts to also come to the realization, oh, this dude just doesn't stop talking. This character just doesn't stop talking. So Sakura is like, okay. This kid that got beat up by the rival school basically is just like, hey, because he was also he basically explains what happened at the end of the last episode. He had seen a shoplifter and he was chasing that shoplifter and ended up in the rival's territory without realizing it. And they chased him back towards his territory, and that's where like people found him. And it's one of those things where you're like, this scene probably didn't need to be in the anime, right? Like if we're cutting things down, we probably didn't need this scene. He could have just said, yeah, sorry about that. Like we probably didn't need it, but whatever. He gets he's like, hey, thanks so much for doing the job, for helping out, even if things didn't go out right. Sakura is like, oh, this guy's like a pretty nice guy. Turns out the leader of this school of delinquents, the good school of delinquents, is like a pretty righteous dude, pretty good dude. And he's like, oh, okay, that's fun. He realizes like, yeah, okay, that's why everyone looks up to him. And basically Sakura's just like, Sakura, who, again, he's not been shown admiration before he got here. He's always been ridiculed. His way to respond to that is being like, that rival school sucks, right? Like, how much of jerks those guys are for being so rough and not cool. And basically, like, Umiyama is like, hey, thanks for helping out. Like, you're new, but thanks for stepping up. And it's a lovely little scene. It is a nice scene of these characters who don't know each other too much. And then apparently the leader of the Shishintoren, Choji, turns up at the school, and he starts fighting all of the students because he's mad. So he shows up at their school. How do I describe Toji? He looks like a big baby, like a big kindergartner. Like I'm not describing him well. It is very clear that the creator of this was like, of this manga turned anime was like, I want you to find this character completely ridiculous. Even though he's tough, I want him to look goofy as hell, because that's how he appears. He appears to be unbelievably goofy. He's fighting people. He's demanding that Yumiya fight him because he's bored. after beating the best of his own school. And then we see our leader demeanor kind of change because he's like, he's getting pissed off. And suddenly he's like not the guy that we just watched talk about leafy greens for fucking 10 minutes. He's deadly serious. And you can tell like, oh, this is like, yeah, he's won them over with charm, but also our guy can go. A bunch of other rival people show up. And from both schools are there. And it is suggested that maybe there's going to be some one-on-one fights, including Sakura. The comic relief character is losing his mind about like, oh God, these fights, they're going to be so brutal. Everything's going to be changed and it's going to be so scary. It's like, come on, dude, you can relax a little bit. So this is our shield. And then the shield is going to become a surfboard where we have to, let's see. What happens here? This piece has to come out. And I don't know how to get it to come out here. This part comes out so that it can go on the surfboard, but I don't know how. This part folds down because this is the surfboard part. They're going to stand on this part here. And then this piece has to pop out so that it can go on the stand. But I don't know how to pop it out. They make it's like this piece comes out. And I'm like, how? How though? There it is. Okay. I figured out how to get it out. And then this is going to live on here. And then that's just this shield becomes a goddamn surfboard. And I got some parts that are going to go on here that will clip into it. So we'll do that. Let's see. Basically, there is talked about like Kodaha, who we met early in the show, but like, hey, you can't tell the leader that she was ever in danger because he will lose his goddamn mind. So we're getting a sense of like, oh, okay, there's a dark side to this guy. And apparently, Kodaha is the same age as Sakura. They're both first-year students, which I don't think we knew. I want to say we didn't know that at the time, but now we know that they're both first-year students. We didn't know her age, I believe, but now we do. All right, so this slips on over it so that it can go on the surfboard here. So we got to figure this part out. It's got to go like that, and then they go like that. And then they go on the surfboard. And then we want to take off this because we're doing boxing mode. So we want to take this off. And we want to take this off. And we want to take this piece off here. We're going to put this. And then there's the effects part that we can put on. We're going to put on the effects part. Then this is just going to sit on like that. Yeah. And I don't know how this attaches. Okay. It just kind of slides in like that. Got it. Gundam Silver Surfer. Yes, it's a little Silver Surfer-ish. And then there's an effects part we got to put on, which we have not done yet, which we can do. And then we can do the big boxing part, and then all these other parts are going to come off and can go and sit around there. Yeah. These parts come off, and then there's an effects part that we can put on. Back to the episode here. Let's see. Apparently, this rival school wasn't always like that. They used to fight each other, but because Yama, I should say, the new leader, when he took over, it changed. But they used to be like friendly rivals, and now it feels bad because now he's making the other kids fight instead of just having like friendly rumbles. Now it's kind of like a turf war thing. And then there's going to be some fights. And there is a philosophy in this episode, which I really liked, which is a fight is a conversation to learn more about your opponent, which is a fun thing to say and that I don't necessarily think is true, but it is a fun thing to say. Okay, so then this piece, this is the effects part, which looks really neat. And that is going to go into here. This. I'm not quite sure how to do this part, so let's see. But anyway, this episode had no fighting and lots of talking and some goofs. And then next episode is going to be the fighting. So I will cover that, the next time. All right, I don't know how to get this effects part to work, so I'm going to take the arm off here because it's a lot easier to work with it like this. But this part has to slide in somehow. And I'm not sure how it slides in. Oh, it slides in like that. Okay. There it is. There's the effects part. So we're in boxing mode, which is mostly just this, although there are other pieces that have to come off. And those other parts can go on effects parts. They can go on other stuff if we want to do that. But I don't really care about that. Basically, I can pull off a lot of these pieces, and they can hang on some stuff. We should probably pull those off just because for the box. Should I do that for the boxing mode? Yeah. Like this part comes off, and this part comes off. Because I'll just leave that on. The basic idea is that this kit, the mobile suit here, he gets stronger when he takes off some of his extra armor, like the football armor comes off, and then he is a stronger boxer because he is wearing less armor, which makes sense, I guess, but it's kind of silly. But we'll just put this on here. Yeah, so this is the boxing mode with the cool effect punch part. So we'll do that. And then we'll also do the fact that the shoulder piece can become a boxing glove as well. So we'll show that on this arm, which I can't remember how to do. I think it's... Is it that this piece goes down? Sorry, I gotta remember how to do that, which I don't remember. Oh, there's a part there. Okay. Yes, like Rock Lee against Gaara, or various Dragon Ball things. Or, if you liked that show, Eminence in Shadow. At one point, the lead character of Eminence in Shadow is pretending that he pretends to be a weak guy who is actually strong in a tournament. And at one point, to explain how tough he is to a person that won't leave him alone, he reveals that, he takes off the weights to be stronger. And he does that cliche because that dude is incredibly strong, but wants to live the life of someone who isn't incredibly strong to have that moment. Weighted clothing is a cool anime trope. That is a cool guy anime trope that comes from cool martial arts movies and such. But yes, that is a trope that you train with weights so that when you remove the weights, you can then do more than you did when you had the weights on, because you are suddenly freer. That is a cool guy anime trait thing. All right, so now I'm going to take a photo of our guy on a surfboard with the effects punch, the boxing mode, which is very silly, but will be the end of this build. So I'm going to take a photo of that. We do have one more anime to talk about, which is episode 2 of Whisper Me a Love Song, which I was going to try to talk about earlier in the week, but I kept getting delayed to talk about this goddamn episode, so now I can talk about it now, which is very funny because I think for Monday I'll talk about episode 3 of it. So Let's get this taken care of. Boxing mode. And that's going to be this kit. I will take it off of its stand so you can see what it looks like down here. As I wrap up the Gundam Maxter and we get ready to work on Metalgarurumon, I will just tell you that this kit fucking is very cool. This is a cool kit full of great parts. I was very happy to work on this kit. I got to put it back together properly. I don't know if it's going to go on display because I don't know what I would take away from behind me because I like all the stuff there. Maybe the Devil Gundam, but I love the clear Devil Gundam, so I can't imagine that I would take that off. So I don't know what this is going to replace, but it could replace something because it is rad as hell. And I love the idea of having a kit on a surfboard on display on my display. I think that would be quite neat. So I need to do some soul searching and figuring out how I want to display that. But that was a lovely kit, and I was happy to work on it. John, I don't know if it's one of the top 10 kits. It is one of the most unique kits that I have built this year, so I will give it that at the very least. It's a kit that I'm very happy exists because the fact that there is a modern, even though it's even though this kit is, what do you call it? Even though this kit is old and it's a new, sorry, I'm a little off tonight. Even though G Gundam is very old, the fact that they for a couple years ahead of the 30th anniversary chose to make new high grades of it, and even though they're premium, it's still wild that I have a Rose Gundam and I have a Gundam Maxter in 2024. The fact that I have both those in my collection is very wild, and I'm very excited about that. We have some time left in the stream. I am going to delay talking about Whisper Me a Love Song Episode 2 again. I'm going to talk about that on Monday. And also on Monday, I'll talk about, I might talk about both episodes of Whisper Me a Love Song. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just do 2 episodes of Whisper Me a Love Song, like 2 and 3 on Monday. And maybe Kaiju number 8, I'll do that as well. Or, yeah, I haven't decided yet. But I'm going to once again postpone it so that we can talk about Metalgarurumon, which I need to now add to the title of this video because we're also working on Metalgarurumon. Metal. It's all one word. Metal. Metalgarurumon. I just don't know how to spell this, so I'm reading it right off the box. Finished. The Gundam Maxter. Yeah, so we'll talk about that stuff. This is Metalgarurumon. Yes, you did, John, you did spell it right there. Live streaming some typing. Indeed. Watch me type poorly. But yeah, let's see. I finished that and started the Figurerise Metalgarurumon. Great. I have now updated my document for that. And I am ready to talk about that. While we talk about this kit, I would like to hear from you, friends. What are you watching right now? What are you playing? What are you into? What's got you going in the world of things and things? As I said, I watched some anime and recorded some videos. Yesterday, I watched some wrestling. I can tell you a bit about wrestling as I get this box together. What did I end up thinking of that? Oh, it was the draft, the WWE draft. And honestly, most of the people just went back to the shows they're already on, which I think is bullshit. It was neat to have some NXT people get called up. I think that's very cool. Congratulations to them. It's wild and neat for them to go so early in the draft. But most of the people just kind of stayed on the brand they already were on, which I didn't love. I would have liked to seen that, change up a little bit. I think that would have been better if they had changed up some things or things. But they didn't. They kept it the same. We have some effects parts here. Some lovely colored effects parts. The only draft people have been talking about this weekend. Indeed, Lord Crashington, the only draft on people's minds is the WWE draft. No other drafting will do. But I thought that was fine. I thought the show itself was pretty good. I think Carmelo Hayes getting being like the number 2 or number 3 draft pick is very cool, and a thing that doesn't matter, but it does matter. And then also having him in the main event against Cody Rhodes is a big fucking deal, and I thought he looked really good in that match. Some people have been sending around just a clip of Cody and Carmelo botching, missing a move, but they're doing it on purpose because it's the story. But if you just look at that clip, they one goes off of the second rope and the other goes off the second rope, and they both miss and they both fall. And it's like, yeah, that's on purpose. And apparently people were like, I can't believe they fucked up. Has Matthew seen this from Botchamania? And it's like, you mean missing a move on purpose? Because if you watch the match, you're like, oh, Cody has his Cody cutter, which is him jumping off the second rope backwards into a diamond cutter. Or an RKO. And Carmelo Hayes has a jump off the second rope backwards into a DDT, which he has a name for, which I don't remember, and I apologize for not remembering it, but he has a name for that move. So the idea that both of them went for their move, which each of them had nailed previously in the match, just to find out that neither of them could pull that move off, was really interesting. It was like an engaging moment in the match. And it's just very funny that people were like, oh, I can't believe they fucked that move up. And it's like, that happens in wrestling where people go and do a move and then on purpose don't pull it off because they both went for it. I don't know. It was one of those things where I'm like, this is a really cool moment that people are just only thinking is a fuck up. And I found that to be odd. You remember when Triple H got drafted to SmackDown and the locker room sang him off. That's very fun. Also, Teddy Long was there to announce some of the draft picks, which was fun to have Teddy Long there. And if you're asking yourself, did Teddy Long book a tag team match? Yes, he did. He booked a tag team match for the pay-per-view in France, which is very fun that he booked a tag team match. I thought that was very funny that he's the one that announced it. Oh, there's going to be a tag team match, and for fans of the era, that was some good business. All right, so I need eye stickers. Eye stickers have to go on this kit here. It's weird to put eye stickers on immediately, but here we go. No, unfortunately, Crashington, nobody had to go one-on-one with The Undertaker, but there is going to be a tag team match in France that he announced. Lashbrook played a bunch of Valheim today, caught up on the GB stream, so I watched some Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Hope you had a good time. I'm putting eye stickers on the eyes of this kit. Really, the third thing we do on Metalgarurumon, which this is not... I think we're going to finish this kit during Monday's stream. I have a feeling. I do not expect this to be a long build. Because the Figurerise kits usually aren't that long. But we are getting a head start by working on it tonight. Which is neat. I did not know how long it would take to finish off the Maxter. We did start late tonight, so it's not like it's been a full, it's only been an hour and a half of streaming, so, even with the slow start, we're managing to get some work done. All right, then I need A3, and I need C18. So we're working on the head here. We are going to panel line this as it comes up. This light purple will look good with some black marker on it. We're not going to go heavy with the marker, but we will do some marker because it will, like I said, it'll look good with it. So we are going to take advantage of that. And then we have a long tongue to put on there, which is fun to say. Lord Crashton played more Fallout 4, which is Fallout 4. At least it runs and loads better on consoles now. Yeah, watching Arthur Geese play, it did feel like it was running better on console. Of course, I play on PC, so I had lots of help in that regard. But it did look like it was doing all right. I'm going to panel line this now, the stripe down the tongue here. Yeah, right down the middle of the tongue. We're just going to panel line that now because it'll be easier to do once the kit is together. So we'll just do that now. For me, Hearthstone got a lot of nerfs. They nerfed my favorite deck in Hearthstone. I am a bit beside myself. The deck that I showed on Tuesday, the Dragon deck, has been nerfed. Instead of playing 5 dragons to activate it, I have to play 8 dragons. Now, does that mean that this deck is less consistent? Yes, it takes longer to do that. It is a harder thing to do to get 8 dragons. It does give my opponent a chance to, build a big board. Is it impossible? Did it make it so that the deck doesn't work anymore? No. I do think to actually make that deck way worse, they would have to do the thing that I mentioned, which was the card that lets you draw your lowest and your highest dragon from your deck. They got to change that card. And I think if they did that, it would make my deck terrible. Right now, it is a little less consistent than it has been. I still haven't lost any games with it in a while. I'm gotten way better at that deck. And I just have to be a little smarter about what cards I'm drawing when I play it. It's still a totally fine deck to play, and it's still pretty overpowered. Let's get some Garurumon together here. I don't know much about Metalgarurumon. I can't tell you much about this thing. I was never a Digimon person. I know some of the names of Digimon. I know some of the English dub names of some of the characters, which I know are different from the Japanese names, but I don't know too much about them in any way, shape, or form. But I do know that for some people, this is their Pokemon, which it came out first. I know in Japan, it predates Pokemon, but by someone's Pokemon, I mean it is the thing that it is their childhood series, and is the show they have a soft spot for, instead of other people who are not interested in digital monsters and are interested in other yes, for people that want their digital monsters and not their pocket monsters. I understand that this is a big deal for them. So this is 6. How does sticker 6 look like? This? Yeah, it looks like that. Okay. And again, I don't know anything about Garurumon. We've built a few Digimon on stream. I think Digimon look neat. I just thought this was a cool looking kit, and it was on sale on Amazon when I picked it up. And because it was on sale, I was like, I think I'm going to get this. And that's kind of the main reason that I picked it up. Let's see. Lord Crashton talks more about their Fallout 4 experience. You were clearing out the enemies in this gunner building and had a lady's dead body fall down, but then disappeared in a corner of a room behind a big pipe for some reason. Once you cleared everybody out, I was gathering up all of the crap in one storage spot to wrap up my base. Warped to your base, and it crashed. Yeah, it's going to do that. It is a Fallout game. It is going to crash. They have fixed a lot of it, but that is still the game on that engine. And sometimes weird shit happens, and it does not know how to compensate for weird shit. It knows how to compensate for some weird shit, but every once in a while, something so weird happens that it doesn't know what to do at all, and it just completely shits the bed. And then the solution is to crash, so that you have to load an earlier save. That unfortunately becomes the solution to the problem. Is let's just run away. Lord Crash says I did start Yuden Chronicle, 100 Heroes, and Another Crab's Treasure on Game Pass. Oh, that's right. I forgot that Another Crab's Treasure is on Game Pass. Nice. Which are both fun and very different games. ACT has some good silly bits to it. Another Crab's Treasure. 100 Heroes seems like a solid homage to Suikoden. Nice. Yeah, I've heard good things about both those games for very different reasons. And I'm glad that you're having a good time with them. That rules. I am just about ready to buy a video game after my long hiatus of not buying any new games. I'm thinking it's time to pick up a game. John says, a few episodes into Dungeon Meshi, still slogging through the secret boss of Disgaea 5 and playing Final Fantasy 7 Crisis Core. Hell yeah. I hope you're having a good time with all them games. Yeah, I'm almost ready to pick up a video game, probably an indie title. I don't think I'm ready to go for a big purchase. I don't know what I'm going to pick up yet. I'm kind of waiting to see about what I'd like to play. Because Life Eater was the game that I was playing. It was the new video game I was playing because I was granted a code for it, which I'm very grateful for. Not sponsored, but I was given a code for that game. Did not stream it because it did not feel like a kind of game that I stream. And that game was incredibly affecting, and I do recommend it, but it's a fucking lot. It is a rough one. It is a mentally draining video game, and very cool, but also, I don't know, y'all. It's a lot. It's just a fucking lot of a video game, and maybe too much for some people, and maybe not right for everybody, as far as video games go. Lord Crash says, I see that Pinball FX is getting a Knight Rider table. Fuck yeah, I didn't know that. That's cool. Which seems like a perfect sign for the age of the audience that pinball has at the moment. Yes. Knight Rider is... Here's the thing. If you don't know Knight Rider, because you didn't watch it when it aired, and also you're too young for it to air on reruns on like FX, or like lower cable channels on the weekends. Some people are too young for that. Because they didn't watch it in the first run, but they watched it in the reruns when it was just like on all the time. At the very least, the thing about Knight Rider is it's a cool car. It's a cool car with a light on front of it. So even if you don't know anything about Knight Rider, you can go, that's a cool looking car. Wait, the car talks? Fuck yeah. Like a talking car that helps a guy fight bad people, the Knight Foundation. That's just cool shit. Like, that is just cool shit that you're like, okay, look, I don't need to know much more than that. The talking car that a guy rides, is that David Hasselhoff that drives that car? All right, sounds great. I'm on board. Like, it doesn't have to be a lot, right? Like, a cool pinball table is a cool pinball table. And if you're telling me that this cool pinball table is like got a talking car on it, fuck yeah. I know the show. It is the show Mr. Feeney did before Boy Meets World. Yes, the actor who played Mr. Feeney is Kit the car. Not to be confused with Car the car. KITT, not KARR, which was the original prototype car. That because the original driver was evil, the car became evil because you're like, why is the car so straight laced? Hey Harold, the Kit is straight laced because that's what Michael Knight wants and appreciates. But the original test pilot for the vehicle, test driver, turned out to be an evil person. They probably called him a psychopath or psychotic, which is not great. But because he was evil, the car became evil. Car, Karr, became evil. And then Kit and Car had to fight. And it was a lot. Happy you're here, Harold, for towards the end of the stream. I hope you had a good. I assume. Look, I'm going to say this. I assume you were over at Loading Ready Run, and I hope that stream was great. For Loading Ready Live, which I will check out probably tomorrow. Lord Crashton says, "What if a cool car had a useful version of the Siri back in the 80s?" Yes, it was fun. Good. Glad to hear it. Yes. You could call Kit a good version of Siri, but also you can just be like, yeah, it's just like a decent use of artificial intelligence before people were throwing that term around. All right, we're building the body of Metalgarurumon, and again, I don't fucking know what's going on with Metalgarurumon, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure out what's going on with Metalgarurumon in a moment here. I do know that Metalgarurumon has a bunch of stickers on this one part of him. Him? I think him. What this is, what these symbols mean, what all these stickers are, again, I don't fucking know. This is like we're like building like his heart or something, or his chest. I don't know. Don't ask me questions about Garurumon or Metalgarurumon or how Garurumon becomes Metalgarurumon, because these are questions that I do not have answers to. Harold has the important question: why are we talking about Knight Rider? Well, that's because apparently Pinball FX is getting a Knight Rider table. Lord Crashing let us know shortly before you joined us, Harold, that Pinball FX is going to get a table all about Knight Rider, and so we were talking about that. And about how like that ages the target audience for Pinball FX, that they were either alive when that aired or they were alive when it was heavily featured on reruns on like FX. FX was great in the afternoons because it showed like the Real American Hero and the A-Team and Knight Rider and MacGyver, and they showed a bunch of cool dudes doing cool shit shows, which I was always a big fan of. All right, we're going to put all these stickers on here. He's no Were-Garurumon. You're right. He's not a werewolf. Metalgarurumon is not a werewolf, so he is a little bit less cool. I do know that... Hey, John, does Were-Garurumon wear jeans? Because I feel like one of the Garurumon Digivolutions wears jeans, and I want to say it's Were-Garurumon has cut off jean shorts. He does. Thank you, John. You're right. Were-Garurumon is definitely cooler than Metalgarurumon. Digimon expert, indeed. Were-Garurumon? Here, Garurumon. This is Metalgarurumon. We're building right now. We have built a couple Digimon, and most of them are just like dudes. We've basically just built like dude Digimon. This Digimon is not a dude. This is just like a beast that has metal parts, apparently, because that's cool. All I know is there's one Digimon that's not a Digimon. He came from a different dimension, and he's just like a weird man, and I hate that guy. I hate that ball man very much. They have not made as far as I know, they haven't made a Figurerise kit of the ball man, who is not actually a Digimon, but pretends to be a Digimon because he came from a different dimension and he's trying to fit in with Digimon. But that creep man has not gotten a figure. And if he did, I don't want it. I forgot they tried to do a new Knight Rider in 2008. Look, Lord Crashington, they tried a bunch of times. They tried straight up reboots. They tried a reboot with David Hasselhoff around. Team Knight Rider, the syndicated show, which is terrible, is also great. I like Team Knight Rider a lot because they were like, here's how we're going to do a new version of Knight Rider. More Knight Rider. We're going to have a cool car, and we're going to have a truck and a van or a Jeep maybe, And we're going to have 2 motorcycles that combined into an all-terrain vehicle somehow. And everyone's going to be able to talk. And then also, instead of a flatbed truck that Kit drives into, we're going to have a big sky base that flies around like a hovercraft thing from from Shield. We're going to do that. And that's how we're going to get around. And then they're going to parachute out of this big flying fortress. And we're going to use really shitty looking CG for a bunch of this. And the big joke of that one was the flirtatious thief. Her car's personality was really buttoned up because that's really how the girl acted. As far as I remember, that was not a good show, but it was a show that I watched because it was a fun Knight Rider. Will Arnett was the voice of Kit. You're right, in a reboot. And then they decided to replace him with Val Kilmer. Yes. And Peter Cullen voiced Carr. Yes, the new Carr. Yes. Will Arnett was real psyched about being the voice and did a bunch of promos for it and really went out of his way to promote it. And they were like, what if you weren't here, Will Arnett? You're ruining this for all of us. Get the fuck out of here, Will Arnett. No one wants you to voice Kit in Knight Rider, the new Knight Rider. Not that new Knight Rider, the new Knight Rider. Not the other new Knight Rider, the new Knight Rider. And also, not Viper. Because Viper isn't Knight Rider. Get it through your heads, everybody. That cool car, the Dodge Viper that became a cool futuristic Dodge Viper, didn't have a personality. Viper is not Knight Rider. Viper is just, what if cops had a cool car? And it was a secret for some reason. What if cops had a secret cool car? That's all Viper was. Also, it was heavily furnished and supported by Dodge. Dodge really wanted Viper to take off because they wanted to sell more Dodge Vipers. Which, fair. You want to sell more of your vehicles. That makes sense. Look, I've started talking about the TV show Viper, and that means that we need to wrap the show up. Somebody not a big actor if their picture isn't on their Wikipedia page. I don't know, Lord Crashen, and sometimes it's just arguments happen about on Wikipedia about some people don't have a lot of Creative Commons photos of themselves, and Wikipedia really wants you to have a Creative Commons. So if the most regular photos of you are owned by, are licensed, then maybe they don't put you up there. Capitalism is going to capitalism. Yes, indeed. All right. Now is the part of the show where we're going to go on a raid. We're going to wrap things up. We got raid tonight, which is very awesome. And we need to share the love. I am not going long just because I started late. My apologies for starting late. I will start right on time on Monday. As John says, we always end with a raid. You're right. Because, I don't have anything planned for Monday, so I'll be able to start on time. We'll talk about some anime. We'll talk about some manga. I will try to plan things for us to chat about. There might be some news on Monday, perhaps. I don't know who is streaming right now. I don't even know who this is. I'm following someone who's name. Oh, okay. I know who that is. That's right. Sorry. I didn't recognize who that was. Let's see. Who are we rating tonight? This person has been streaming for 3 hours. That doesn't mean much. They might be still going. Yeah, let's raid Liz. Liz Star is playing some RPGs. Treasure of Rudris. Treasure of Rudris. I don't know anything about this game, but Liz is playing it, and Liz is cool. So we'll go hang out with Liz. Thank you all so much for Anime Monday, indeed. Thanks for hanging out with me here on this night. I apologize for being a little out of it because I did rush in from a thing and immediately start streaming, which is not my preferred method. So thanks so much for hanging out tonight. I hope you had a good time hanging out. We finished up a cool model kit. We're starting something new that'll be fun, that will pretty much, we might finish on Monday. If not, we'll definitely finish on Thursday. Come back on Monday. Come on this raid. Have a great weekend. I'll see you soon. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye. Good.